Well, hello, dear students. This is Zeeshan Hashmi. When I speak, when I speak to many of my students regarding prelims strategy, regarding PYQs, everybody among them knows that PYQs, past year questions, are very important when it comes to preparing for the upcoming prelims exam. But when I ask them, how do we use PYQs? PYQs का इस्तेमाल करना कैसे है? Then the students give me a very vague idea with respect to how we use PYQs. PYQs को इंटेलिजेंट पेपर सॉल्विंग के लिए किस तरह से यूज करना है, प्रेडिक्टिव एनालिसिस के लिए किस तरह यूज करना है, एक्यूरेसी इन द एग्जाम हॉल एनहांस करने के लिए कैसे यूज करना है, इसका बहुत वेग आइडिया जनरली स्टूडेंट्स के पास होता है. ऑल्दो एवरीवन नोज that PYQs are very important for their preparation. This is somewhat similar to physical exercise. Now everyone knows that physical exercise is very important, but not everyone knows how exactly to execute it. Fine. So in today's brief session, we'll be speaking about the 5 days PYQ challenge, which will be a free initiative, which will be open to all. Today we'll be taking a few examples from past few papers to understand the right approach of using PYQs and how we'll be doing this in the upcoming 5 days in the PYQ challenge. We'll also be learning how do we intelligently approach the paper in the examination hall. How we use predictive analysis in the PYQs in the past year papers? How do we enhance our accuracy? And those students who are able to maintain that momentum for the 5-day stretch, they will be getting rewards at the end. Now, I don't know what those rewards would be, but in addition to the learnings that you would be receiving in the 5 days PYQ challenge, these rewards would be an added bonus. For that, you need to join my Telegram group, because all the PYQ challenges, all the sessions would be conducted from the Telegram group itself. My team will be pinning the Telegram group link in the chat section of this live. Okay, quickly moving ahead. Now, this is a screen grab from a class of mine. Now, what is important here, before the 2023 prelims, you can see the students paying keen attention to the ongoing class and what we were discussing back then. Mosquito control using bacteria, and specifically we had discussed about Wolbachia. Now, why is this important? Now, this is important because there was a direct question in prelims 2023, and this was that question. Wolbachia method is sometimes talked about the reference to which one of the following? And certainly the correct answer was option A, controlling the viral diseases spread by mosquitoes. Now, because we were able to indulge in PYQ anchoring, we were able to do PYQ predictive analysis. So we were prepared for this question. I'm just taking one example from the previous classes. Quickly moving ahead, the point being made, predictive analysis of prelims papers using past year questions is very much possible, and those who are using it are able to enhance their score in the prelims paper. Now, say for example, in 2021 prelims, there was a reference to mushroom, and after this exam, after 2022 exam, I had discussed with respect to how UPSC has been following a particular trend, how it has been recycling past year questions, comparing it with this 2022 question, Gukchi mushroom, again a direct question drawn from 2021. Now, what is our duty as civil services aspirants? We know that UPSC is following a particular trend. If it has asked a particular question on mushroom using PYQ analysis level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, it is our duty to at least stay abreast with the mushrooms in Indian context that are prominently in news. So in 2023, there was a pretty direct question, although this question seemed a bit vague, prima facie. The question was, some mushrooms have medicinal properties, some mushrooms have psychoactive properties, some mushrooms have insecticidal properties, and some mushrooms have bioluminescent properties. Again, this question was in keeping with this trend. Now, as we have just discussed, we are expected to stay abreast with the current affairs with respect to mushrooms, Indian mushrooms prominently in news. So take example of this news piece. It was covered in Indian Express and many other news outlets. The mystery of the glowing mushrooms in Meghalaya. Now, this was well before the 2023 exam. So bioluminescence in mushrooms was already covered. Magic mushrooms. Magic mushroom compound shows promise as depression treatment in key study. Again, psychedelics, psychoactive properties of mushroom. Coming back to the question, psychoactive properties, bioluminescent properties, the other properties, medicinal properties and insecticidal properties, these are relatively well known. So we won't go into details of those. So what we have just learned, be it 2021, 2022, 2023, UPSC has kept that thread intact when it comes to recycling past year questions using PYQ anchoring at 4 levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. And this is how we are expected to stay prepared for the upcoming questions. Now, speaking of upcoming questions, let's have a look at one more question asked in 2023. Now, 3 statements were given regarding microorganisms. Some microorganisms can grow in extreme hot environments, boiling point of water से भी ज़्यादा hot environment में they can grow. Second statement, they can grow below the freezing point of water. Third statement, they can survive in highly acidic environment with pH below 3. Now, this question, although it seemed quite vague or quite out of the box, this was not really out of the box. This is very well covered in your 8th standard science NCERT. 8th standard की science NCERT में ये covered है और directly यहीं से पूरा की पूरा question उठाया है UPSC ने. What have I highlighted here? They मतलब bacteria have been found living in boiling mud spots. Boiling mud spots की बात आ गई. Statement 1, higher than boiling point of water. Then, and extremely cold icy waters. Cold icy waters की बात आ गई. Statement 2, below the freezing point of water. Then, lakes, it can be found in lakes of caustic soda and in pools of concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid की बात आ गई. Statement 3, it can survive in highly acidic environment with a pH below 3. So, a direct question that UPSC has taken from 8th standard science NCERT. Now that we know that UPSC has been picking questions from this particular book, it is highly likely that UPSC might repeat itself फिर से probably इसी किताब से जहां पर value added information दी गई है. This box is nothing but value added information. It might repeat its habit. It might frame one more question. So our duty is to go through other value added information given in this particular NCERTs. And I've highlighted just one example because it has good likelihood of being asked in the paper. UPSC इसी तरह के questions पूछ रही है इन दिनों. Point 1 को मैंने highlight किया है. India has more than half of the world's wild tigers, 65% of the Asian elephants. यहां तक फिर भी ठीक है. 85% of great one-horned rhinos and 100% of the Asian lions. अगर इस तरह के 4 statements UPSC दे दे तो probably 1 या 2 statements में especially with respect to one-horned rhino हमको दिक्कत हो सकती है. But now we are well prepared. हमको पता है by using PYQ anchoring that UPSC has used this particular source in framing a question. So again, by using PYQ anchoring, we are better prepared for a possible similar question in the next prelims paper. Let's quickly move ahead. Now in 2023, there was this question on biofilters. Statement 1, biofilters provides XYZ. Statement 2, biofilters convert XYZ. Statement 3, biofilters increase phosphorus. Similarly, in 2022, we had this question, biofilms can form XYZ. Biofilms can form ABC. Biofilms can exhibit XYZ. So the similarity, I hope you see the similarity here. Here, the word bio, bio is being prefixed to another word and a question is being formed around it in 2 consecutive years. Both. Now, this is an example from 2023 and this is from 2022. Now, keeping in view the PYQ anchoring being done by UPSC, what can we expect? What can be the possible future questions that we need to be prepared about? It can be on bio accumulation because we have seen biofilms and biofilters. It can be on bio accumulation, biopiracy, bioinformatics. By the way, bioinformatics पे पहले question आ चुका है. Biomimicry, biosensors, and so on. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just to show, or this is just to understand what we can expect in the upcoming prelims exam based on these 2 consecutive questions asked by UPSC. Now let's quickly move ahead. In 2023, UPSC had asked this question. In statement 1, it focused on gold mining and mercury pollution, its impact on mercury pollution. Statement 2, coal-based thermal power plants and mercury pollution. And statement 3, there is no safe level of exposure to mercury. So this was in 2023. In 2021, 2 years ago, there was this question on copper smelting plants. And statement 1 emphasized on carbon monoxide. Statement 2 emphasized on heavy metals coming out of those copper smelting plants. And statement 3 emphasized on sulfur dioxide. Here, we are not concerned with the correct answer, but we are concerned with the anchors, PYQ anchors being used. Here, the focus was on mercury and different sectors, different industries having an impact on mercury. And statement 3 was a general statement on mercury. Similarly, here in 2021, the focus was on copper smelting plants, but different pollutants were being discussed: carbon monoxide, heavy metals, sulfur dioxide. So what is our learning? What is our learning from these questions that we have compared? Possible future questions can be on major polluting industries and their associated pollutants. Now, this is the bare minimum we are expected to be prepared with, because we have seen this trend being followed by UPSC in the past few years. Let's quickly move ahead. Now, there was this question in 2023 emphasizing on thermal power plants. Thermal power plants. Statement 1 says none of them uses seawater. Statement 2, none of them does XYZ. Again, statement 3, none of them does ABC. Fine. Now, 1 year ago, in 2022, there was emphasis not on thermal power or not on thermal power plant, but on solar power. Statement 1, XYZ is the largest solar park. Statement 2, XYZ is a fully powered solar powered international airport. Statement 3, XYZ is the largest floating solar project. So what is the learning here? In the previous question, the emphasis was on thermal power plants, which was asked in 2023, and 3 statements were given. 1 year ago, the emphasis was on solar power. What is the learning over here? In 1 year, the emphasis was on solar power. The next year, the emphasis was on thermal power. So, in keeping with this trend, a possible future question can be from other forms of energy in use. That may be tidal energy, wind energy, and so on, along with national and international initiatives being taken for these alternative forms of energy. Now, that is the bare minimum expectation from us, keeping in view the PYQ anchoring being followed by UPSC in the past few years. Let's quickly move ahead. Now, let's move a bit ahead from PYQ anchoring, and very briefly, let's try to understand how UPSC is how UPSC is expecting us to use our creative mind to be able to solve questions in an intelligent manner in the examination hall. Now, in 2023, there was this question that seemed out of the box. कई लोगों को out of the box लगा ये question. Statement 1, detection of car crash collision. Statement 2, detection of accidental free fall of laptop. Statement 3, detection of tilt of smartphone. Again, no idea. But I have been discussing this for quite some time, and I'll be discussing this in detail in the 5 days PYQ workshop, 5 days PYQ challenge. When we are faced with statements which appear quite vague, or for which we don't have a strong reason to eliminate those statements, we take risk. We take that leap of faith and we assume that statement or those statements to be correct. Now, in case of these three statements, let's assume that we have no idea, either with respect to detection of car crash, or detection of accidental free fall of laptop, or detection of tilt of smartphone. We have no idea. But again, we don't have a strong reason to eliminate either of these statements. So we assume them to be right and we mark them as correct. Now, this was from 2023. Let's take a similar question from 2021. Let's directly jump to statement 2. Nanoparticles of some metallic oxides are used in manufacture of some cosmetics. पता है क्या हमको होते हैं यूज या नहीं होते हैं? Probably cosmetics में यूज होते होंगे, probably यूज नहीं होते होंगे. We are not sure. Statement 3. Nanoparticles of some commercial products which enter the environment are unsafe for humans. Now, some commercial products की बात हो रही है. ऐसा नहीं कहा जा रहा है कि सारे के सारे commercial products खराब हैं. Probably थोड़े खराब होते होंगे या खराब नहीं भी होते होंगे, हमको नहीं पता. So in statement 2 and statement 3, we are taking that risk. We are assuming them to be correct. But what about statement 1? Statement 1 क्या बोल रहा है? Other than those made by humans, nanoparticles do not exist in the nature. पता है क्या हमको? Do we know for sure whether nanoparticles exist in the nature? Do they exist naturally or do they not exist naturally? हमको नहीं पता. यूपीएससी ने इसको निगेट करके स्टेटमेंट को गलत कर दिया. यूपीएससी ने क्या कहा? Other than those made by humans, nanoparticles do not exist in nature. Fine. So that's an artificial barrier, artificial negation done by UPSC. Only statement 2 and 3 are correct. यहाँ पर there was no negation. तीनों statement के बारे में we were not sure, but we didn't have a strong reason. Feasibility test use किया. We mark all as the correct answer. Similarly, इस वाले क्वेश्चन में हमने देखा फिजिबिलिटी टेस्ट यूज किया, 2 and 3 को मार्क किया. स्टेटमेंट 1 को करेक्ट अज्यूम करने का हमारे पास कोई रीजन नहीं है, बिकॉज वी डोंट नो whether this particle exists in nature naturally or not. Let's take a very similar and interesting example from 2023 itself using feasibility test. Thermal power plants ये example हमने थोड़ी देर पहले देखा था, but in a different context. Here the context is logical paper solving techniques, creative thinking, active paper solving. So thermal power plants in India, statement 1, none of them uses seawater. Statement 2, none of them is set up in a water stressed district. Statement 3, none of them is privately owned. हमको पता है क्या कि एक भी ऐसा थर्मल पावर प्लांट है या नहीं है जो सी वाटर यूज नहीं करता? या फिर स्टेटमेंट 2, एक भी ऐसा थर्मल पावर प्लांट नहीं है जो वाटर स्ट्रेस्ड डिस्ट्रिक्ट में सेटअप है. सेटअप हो भी सकता है वाटर स्ट्रेस्ड डिस्ट्रिक्ट में या नहीं भी हो सकता है. वी आर नॉट श्योर, बट यूपीएससी इज एम्फसाइजिंग कि ऐसा कोई पावर प्लांट नहीं है. स्टेटमेंट 3, नन ऑफ देम इज प्राइवेटली ओन्ड. Isn't there a possibility कि we might have privately owned thermal power plants? That is a possibility. Again, तीनों statements में artificial negation करके UPSC has eased our job. Here the correct answer is D. None of the given statement is correct. Again using feasibility test, जिस तरह से यहां पर हमने तीनों स्टेटमेंट्स को चूज किया था एज द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट्स, इस वाले में हमने स्टेटमेंट 2 और 3 को चूज किया था. वी हैड एलिमिनेटेड स्टेटमेंट 1 यूजिंग फिजिबिलिटी टेस्ट. यहां पर वी हैव negated all the 3 statements using feasibility test and we have marked option D as our correct answer. Okay, someone Rohan is asking, so sir, can we expect one question related to mushroom in 2024 prelims also? जहां तक एक्सपेक्टेशन की बात है, डेफिनेटली एक्सपेक्ट किया जा सकता है. बट इफ यू आस्क सर क्या गारंटी है कि 2024 में मशरूम पर क्वेश्चन आएगा ही, तो देयर कांट बी एनी गारंटीज गाइस. दिस इज नॉट प्योर साइंस जहां पर 2+2 हमेशा 4 मिलेगा. देयर इज ऑलवेज रिस्क इन्वॉल्व, बट आवर ड्यूटी एज सिविल सर्विसेज एस्पिरेंट्स इज टू बी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड. जितना ज्यादा हम एज ले सकते हैं पेपर में, उतना हम लेने की कोशिश करेंगे. फाइन, आई होप यू आर क्लियर रोहन. मूविंग अहेड गाइस, अगेन आई हैड डिस्कस्ड दिस quite many times in my class, in my videos. UPSC is following this structure, especially in polity questions. When the statement says that the Constitution of India defines X, Y, Z, then that statement is more likely to be wrong. Let me repeat myself. If the statement says that the Constitution of India or Article XYZ of the Constitution of India defines XYZ, then that statement is more likely to be wrong. Now in 2023, again that was true. Here, statement 2 is wrong because of that structure being followed by UPSC. In the previous year, in 2022, again statement 3 UPSC ने similar lines पर दिया था. The Constitution of India defines civil contempt and criminal contempt. इसका सही आंसर क्या है? Statement 3 निकालो. Statement 1, 2 and 4 is the correct answer. So the same structure, the same format, the same language, similar trends are being followed by UPSC that are quite visible to us when we have a keen look at the PYQs, not just of the past year, but of the past 5 years, because then we get that benefit of कंपैरेटिव एडवांटेज मिलता है हमको. कंपैरेटिव तरीके से हम देख रहे हैं पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चंस को rather than looking them in silos. Fine. Quickly moving ahead, and we are quickly moving towards the end of the session. Now this was a question based on wordplay. Now what is wordplay? Now I have spoken about this in many of my videos. Also, I have spoken on this on many of my paid classes as part of Dominate Prelims 2023 earlier. Wordplay is such a framing of the question where you can derive the correct answer even if you have no idea about the question based on the meaning that we derive out of the given keyword. यहाँ पर keyword क्या है? Small farmer, large field. Now let's assume कि हमको आंसर नहीं पता. We are sitting in the examination hall. The keyword given to us is small farmer, large field. Now let's go through the options. भले ही हमको नहीं पता, कोशिश तो करेंगे आंसर करने की. Statement A क्या बोलता है? Settlement of a large number of people uprooted from their countries due to war by giving them a large cultivable land which they cultivate collectively and share the produce. Does it sync with the keyword? Small farmer, large field. Small farmer का मतलब ऐसा farmer जिसके पास field छोटी है. The size of the land with that farmer is quite small, but ultimately large field. That particular farmer is able to reap benefits of a large field. So statement option A doesn't suit. क्यों suit नहीं होता? क्योंकि ऑप्शन ए बोल रहा है by giving them a large cultivable land. तो वो स्मॉल फार्मर कैसे रहा? वो तो बिग फार्मर हो गया, राइट? इफ यू आर गिविंग देम लार्ज कल्टिवेबल लैंड. ऑप्शन ए हटा दिया. लेट्स डायरेक्टली जंप टू ऑप्शन सी. Many marginal farmers in an area together make a contract with a corporate body and surrender their land. I'm emphasizing surrender their land to the corporate body for a fixed term and so on. So option C is a regressive statement. When you look at the trend of PYQs, regressive statements are generally wrong. But option C में क्या बात हो रही है? Farmer is surrendering his property, his land to a corporate body, which is a big red flag. Now let's jump to option D. A company extends loans, technical knowledge, and material inputs to a number of small farmers in an area so that they produce the agricultural commodity required by the company for its manufacturing process and commercial production. Again, company की बात हो रही है, लेकिन let's compare it with option B. Option D के बारे में हम उतने श्योर नहीं है, right? Let's compare option B and option D. Option B क्या बोलता है? Many marginal farmers in an area organize themselves. Okay, so पहला वाला keyword small farmer. Many marginal farmers in an area organize themselves into groups and synchronize and harmonize selected agricultural operations. So small farmer, large field. Large field कैसे हो रही है? Because they are coming together. Farmers are coming together. They are organizing. They are synchronizing. They are harmonizing and enhancing their operations. So it is a very progressive statement. Compared to option D, option B is more progressive. Again, assuming that we don't know the correct answer, but using wordplay, small farmer, large field, we mark option B as the correct answer. So in this brief session, we have first learned about PYQ anchoring, predictive analysis, using PYQs to be able to filter out content. जैसे हमने यहां पर देखा, there was this question on thermal plant. Then before that, there was this question on solar power. What can be expected in the upcoming years? Similarly, we saw this question on major air pollutants being asked one after the other in subsequent years. So we are extrapolating as to what can be asked in the coming year. Similarly, here we saw the word bio is being prefixed in a creative manner by UPSC, be it biofilms, be it biofilters. What can we expect? We saw a few examples. Again, that was not an exhaustive list. Similarly, we saw other things with respect to PYQ anchoring, predictive analysis. Then we came to usage of logical paper solving skills, or call it creative use of a mind, or actively solving paper in the examination hall. We saw, or we took examples of feasibility test, wordplay, certain templates being used by UPSC, and so on. So to reiterate myself, this is the philosophy that we'll be following in the 5 days PYQ challenge starting from Monday. So today is 16th of December. We'll be starting from 18th of December, and I'll be coming live with you guys every day at 7 p.m. Do join my Telegram group because I'll be giving you assignments. You need to complete those assignments. Daily PYQs मैं दूंगा आप लोगों को. You have to solve those PYQs, and सिर्फ solve नहीं करना है. Reason देना है कि why did you mark that particular answer? Did you use any particular logical skill, or did you solve those particular questions in a different manner? Whatever the case might be. So proof of work आप लोगों को देना पड़ेगा उस टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में. I hope my team has pinned the link. Link pin किया हुआ है. Again to reiterate, we'll be learning proper use of PYQs. PYQs important है, सबको पता है, हम सबको पता है, लेकिन उनको यूज कैसे करना है so as to maximize our score in the upcoming prelims exam. How to intelligently solve paper in the exam hall. How do we use PYQs for predictive analysis? How do we increase our accuracy? It's but natural that when you put such effort behind PYQ anchoring and predictive analysis, our accuracy would automatically increase in the exam. And lastly, those students who will be completing the 5 days challenge will be getting rewards what would be the nature of those rewards, वो तो challenge खत्म होने के बाद ही मिलेगा. But this rewards would be a bonus in addition to the learnings that you would be deriving from this 5 days PYQ workshop or PYQ challenge. So you can ask, you can ping me in the Telegram group for any doubts that you have. Just to repeat myself before we end, from Monday to Friday, we'll be having this initiative from 18th of December at 7 p.m. live every day. Okay, fine, guys. This was all in today's live. We can end it here. Take care.